Good morning, ladies. I hope you're having a beautiful Saturday morning. Today I wanted to do this video for you about something that I think we're all inherently inclined to, and that's self-sabotage. And it's really important to look to why and how we're getting in our own way, because oftentimes we don't recognize that we're actually sabotaging ourselves. It's not obvious to us, and it shows up in ways that we don't really notice, and so we don't realize we're doing it. And then we think that our lack of success, the reason why we're not reaching our goals and we're not achieving our goals, is because we're not enough, or we're inadequate, or we're not worthy. And so our negative inner critic comes in and really solidifies those thoughts for us. So it's important to know why we self-sabotage. And the first reason is really that our brains are seeking comfort or pleasure. And so change is uncomfortable. It's putting us in an uncomfortable situation because we're used to doing things a certain way. And so when things are uncomfortable, our inner voice comes in and starts to try to self-soothe us. And it starts to really kind of negotiate with us and talk us out of what we were trying to do. So a good example of this is, let's say that you've placed a goal for yourself to start eating healthier and to exercise every morning. You really want to start taking those steps to feeling better. And so when the time comes, you wake up and you feel tired and you feel groggy. And so your brain starts to negotiate with you. It starts to try to keep you the same. It tells you, oh, you know what, just take the extra 30 minutes, stay in bed because you're tired and today's going to be busy and today's going to be stressful, and you're going to need that rest. And so you talk yourself, you negotiate yourself out of it, and really you're seeking the pleasure over being uncomfortable. And so then after we make that decision and we say, okay, we're going to stay in bed that extra 30 minutes, then we berate ourselves for it. Our inner negative critic comes in and starts telling us that, we're stupid, we're never going to reach our goals, like we don't have the motivation, we don't have willpower, and we just rip ourselves apart. And that's really the second reason why we self-sabotage, is our negative self-talk, our inner critic. And we really let it just go wild and take control. And oftentimes our inner critic is coming from experiences from growing up. Maybe we had a critical parent or family member, or maybe kids at school picked on us, and so that becomes our inner voice. Those things that were said to us becomes our inner negative self-talk. And so we just continue to berate ourselves and make us feel bad for those decisions, and we begin to diminish our achievements and really diminish the things that are truly beautiful about ourselves and our lives. And we take the things that people say to us to heart, and we really believe it as truth, when the truth of it is that the things that people say that are mean or are nasty, it's really their inner critic that's speaking out. So they're projecting their inner critic on you, and so those are things that they say to themselves. And so for us to take that as truth, it's not. It's really has nothing to do with us and really everything to do with them, but we take it personal. And the third reason that we self-sabotage is we live by the can and can't, the shoulds and shouldn'ts. So we create all these rules for ourselves, and then we think that we are going to stick to them. And they're unrealistic rules. Like, for example, let's say that somebody from your office brings in donuts, and so you say, oh no, I can't have that donut, or I shouldn't have that donut. And so you don't at first. But then as the day goes on, you start to feel tired, you start to feel stressed out, and so you eat that donut. And then again, you rip yourself apart for eating that donut, and maybe you throw out the rest of your healthy eating for the day. I had that donut, so I might as well just stop at McDonald's and get something to eat on my way home so I don't have to cook. And you start to seek that comfort. And so those rules, it's really based on things we've used coping mechanisms while growing up. And we tell ourselves that we shouldn't have things, and then when we break those rules, again, our negative self-talk comes in. And I know this has definitely come up for me many, many times, and I'm sure it's come up for you as well. And so it just ends up being like this snowball effect. And then the fourth reason why we self-sabotage is a fear of change and a fear of the unknown. And so our brains, it's really sneaky, and it really, honestly, the ultimate goal is to keep us safe. It's trying to keep us safe. And so change is scary, and we have this fear of failure. And so we let our brains take over, and we let it convince us not to do things because we don't know, what the result is going to be. We don't know if we can do it. We have this fear of failure, and so we just let that take over. We fear pain and rejection. And while our inner voice, tries to keep us safe from pain and all of those things, it also is keeping us from joy, from truly feeling joy. So it's really important that we understand why we're doing these things, and then we take the steps to stop that behavior, to stop the self-sabotaging behavior. And really the first step in that is recognizing behavior. So this is, what have you been putting off? What have you not done because maybe you think there are more important things that need to be done first, or there have to be done first, or maybe you just don't feel like doing it. This often shows up as procrastination or lack of motivation. For me, it's often procrastination, where I think there are other things that I need to do first before I can do a particular thing. This comes up especially in my business, because if any of you have ever started your own business, you know that it brings up a lot of mindset stuff, a lot of fear and all of those things. So procrastination is a really way to get around that fear. When you're afraid to do something, you put it off, or if you really don't feel like doing it, you put it off. And so it's recognizing those things that you're doing. What goals have you had that you have not achieved for no real reason other than you put it off? And are you feeling like a lack of motivation to take the steps necessary? And so it's really recognizing the behaviors, the things that you're doing that is causing this behavior. And then once you do that, then you want to start recognizing the self-talk. What are you saying to yourself that's preventing you from moving forward? Are you telling yourself that you're worthless and stuff like that? Is your brain telling you that it's talking you into not doing the things that you want to do? And write down those negative things, all the ways that you're talking yourself out of things, all the ways that you're negatively self-talking, and write all that down, and really just recognize that self-talk. And then from there, what you're going to want to do is recognize why you're doing it. Is this something that you have tried before and failed at because probably of self-sabotage, to be honest? But are you in a place that you've been before and your mind is recognizing that as, oh, we didn't do well with this last time, so we're not going to do good with this time? Or are your thoughts rational? Ask yourself, are my thoughts rational? Are they really the truth? Because most of the time it's not the truth. It's something we're telling ourselves. It's a story we're telling ourselves as to why we can't do things. And so really recognizing the reasons why you're speaking to yourself this way and why you're doing those things is really going to help. And when it comes to this negative self-talk, like, honestly think about it. Would you ever say to your best friend or to your sister or to your brother or anybody that you love and care about, would you ever say to them the things that you say to yourself? And the answer is, hopefully, most of the time, is no. You wouldn't dream of saying those things to yourself, to them. You probably say things that are encouraging and uplifting, but then to yourself, you tell yourself that you don't deserve it and that you aren't worthy. And so really recognizing those things. And then from there, what you can do is reframe your thinking. So you have all your negative self-talk written down. You've recognized, why you're doing the behavior, what the behavior is. And so now you can really plan on reframing your thinking. So how can you look at these things in a more positive way? So for example, let's say you ate that donut, right? And normally you would just berate yourself for eating that donut and derailing your progress or whatever it is. But the truth is, did you really do any damage? Did you hurt anybody? Did you really hurt yourself? Is anything really bad happening? No. You're probably just feeling a little crappy after eating it. You had the immediate pleasure of eating it. But a few minutes afterwards, you probably didn't feel very good because of the incredible amount of sugar and all of that stuff. So the way you can reframe that is, okay, I made that choice, I ate that donut, and now I feel like crap. So the next time that I am presented with this situation, I know that eating that is going to make me feel like crap. And so I can make a better decision. And if you don't make a better decision, that's okay. Learn again and try better the next time. So just try to reframe your thinking and look at it more positively, because if you're not constantly thinking all of these negative thoughts about the choices that you're making, then you're more likely to make better choices next time. So if you can plan also for these situations, you recognize, what you're doing and why you're doing it, and you can plan for how you can look at it when it comes. Because honestly, we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes, and we're going to make choices that aren't always necessarily going to make us feel the best. And we just have to be okay with making those choices and move on from them. And so continuing the self-sabotaging behavior, you're just going to continue being stuck where you are. And so this is something that I really love helping people with. I really love helping my clients with, because we all really do it. And like I said, sometimes you don't recognize that you're doing it. And so it takes somebody else to see, to hear what excuses you're making for yourself, and to really recognize when you're procrastinating or when you're lacking the motivation, and can help talk you through that, coach you through it, and really get you through those behaviors and realize a more positive way to go about it and a way to overcome it. And so I really love helping people with this. So if this is something that you struggle with, something that you could use help on, I would love to help you. I am going to include a link to my calendar in the comments below, so you can click on it and schedule a free mini coaching session with me, so we can really identify where you're getting stuck and what your goals are, what you really want for yourself, what your vision is for your health and for your life, and get a step-by-step roadmap to get you moving forward. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment box below. I'll go back and answer them. For those of you that are watching live, go ahead and post any questions or any comments. I will answer them if I can while this video is still going. If not, I will go back and answer them. And it doesn't look like there are any, so That's all I have for you guys today. I hope that you have a beautiful weekend, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.